All right, so welcome to Game Picks. How are you doing, Jamal? It's another week. We're getting close to the end of the season, man. It's sad. It went by really, really fast. But yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, man. It did go by sad. We're at the point where we're over the league hump in week 12, and we're heading down the final stretch. We're heading down the final stretch, and we're gonna get some clarity and some answers these next couple of weeks. And I'm excited to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, and one of the factor for the league getting to, I think, what is the best playoff race we've ever seen is that we're covering 4 games. We're going to talk about 4 games in this game pick. So stick around. Let's start off with the first one. First one doesn't really have much playoff implication though. It's a tank bowl, but it's going to be a really fun game, in my opinion. It's the Enthroners against the Berlin Thunder. What's your thought on this game?
Yeah, to be honest, I think over the past couple of weeks, we've seen the Enthroners actually play better. We've seen the Enthroners look a little bit more competent. They're putting up a lot of points, a lot of scores. Brett Pullman and John Cole have found chemistry and got on the same page, and I think this could be an upset opportunity. I think they could go. I think they're going to welcome Berlin to their home, and I think this is the opportunity where they could get Berlin. So we'll see how it is. Again, you got one team fighting for their first win, one team who really doesn't have anything to gain, just more to lose. I think this could be a perfect setup for an Enthroners victory.
Yes, sir. So I agree with that, of course, because me and you are going Enthroners. We have, I think it's Matt and Alex going for Berlin. So here's some factor. First of all, John Cole is doing crazy stuff in the Hungarian region. I've seen I thought it was a vision at first. John Cole is able to do the craziness of getting an Enthroners players in fantasy lineups. So That's something outstanding that I've never seen done before. So that's shows for the level that he's bringing to the team. And then of course the Enthroners halfway through the season made a switch and they started playing a bit different defense compared to what they did. They started getting some DBs, American DBs, which they never did. And they're playing against, I'm sorry to throw shade on you, Jacob Sullivan. They're playing against the all-time leader for single season interception. So I think this is gonna play a factor in this game. I think the Enthroners are gonna get a win that is gonna be a very, very good win for their history. It's the Berlin Thunder, is no Frankfurt Galaxy or other teams that are closer to the mid section, but I think it's going to be a fun game and a good win for the Enthroners. What's the next game that we want to break down?
Yeah, I think the next game we want to dive into is that Munich Madrid game.
Yeah, we got to talk about that one.
I think that Munich Madrid game I've done some research. All right.
Okay.
And Madrid might be one of the scariest teams to play your second time around. Right. So you think about when they played Hamburg and they lost by 1 point. The next time they threw up 50 plus on Hamburg.
Yeah.
Right. You think about when they played, the Raiders and they lost by 1 point. Some argue you could maybe think that they should have won that game. They put up 50 plus on the Raiders and they held the Raiders
game
offense.
Was done like halfway through the third quarter.
The Raiders offense only scored 8 points in the second half. Right. So now we're coming down the stretch. And granted, they haven't had we thought the schedule was going to be a lot harder than what it was. But now, again, I guess another game you could throw out when they played Helvetic and people think, that game was closer than what it was. Right. Put up 60 against Helvetic. And again, this is a Madrid team coming down the stretch where they only really got to win one of their last two. Right. And obviously you got Munich and you got Frankfurt. Frankfurt's a completely different team from what they played the first time. And then even that Munich game, you see a trend here. They lost by 1 point, right? So it's going to be interesting to see this week against Munich what they've learned from what Andrew Weidinger is able to draw up and what this team is going to look like heading into the playoffs. This is the best offense in Europe, the best show on the European grass. I'm going to be interested to see, is Madrid really capable not only just obviously getting to the playoffs, I think he's trending that way, but winning a playoff game are some of the questions we're going to have to start asking ourselves.
Yes, sir. Well, obviously the insiders all agree with you. I don't, because I went with the Munich Ravens. Because I might be skewed by the fact that I just had an interview with Joey Lindstrom as my co-host and Tabor Time, and that's a clutch factor that it's tough to take out of the game. First time around, Munich were down by like 24. So, and then Tabor time were just able to bring his team back into, of course, it's defense as well. It's a whole team effort. But, when it comes down to it and it's the fourth quarter, it just is Tabor time. You can't stop him. So that's a factor that you can't take out of this game, And
Absolutely.
These ain't no golf game. This ain't no golf course. So it's gonna be ball in hand, and Tabor time I think has the best on this one. But I guess we'll see. It's going to be a fun game to follow, a really, really high-scoring game. So, yeah, I'm gonna make sure to tune in for that one. It's going to be really fun to follow. What's
Absolutely.
the next game that we need to talk about?
Hey, listen, we got to talk about Raiders versus the Rhein Fire, right?
Yeah.
The 3P is still alive.
Is it?
Listen,
it is still alive.
The 3P is still alive. If you would have asked, I made a comment earlier in the year that whoever wins or lose versus Fire and Paris in that second game was going to miss the playoffs. And listen, it's still factual, still can happen, but it's not looking that way because the Fire have discovered the passing game over the past 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
You get Kofi going for 6 tugs. You get Chad Jeffries going for 3+ in each game. If they could marry that passing game with the running game of John Scott, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is another team that could potentially be dangerous. The wild card teams, if you think about the wild card teams, the capabilities of them, from quarterback to offense to defense, you're either going to see Madrid, Rhein Fire, maybe a Paris Musketeers team.
Yeah.
Maybe Prague, but again, is Prague gonna have the offensive power to go, head to head with, a Stuttgart or a Munich or a Nordic? That's what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be one of those other home games. So it's gonna be crazy to see down the stretch what all this is gonna look like.
Yes, sir. Do you know another team that is still in for the playoffs that has, it's a really fun team to follow is the Raiders Tirol, and that's why I'm writing for this one. Okay, so the Raiders Tirol, they're great. They have the rushing game that nobody has. I don't care about Selig and stuff. That's another type of offense, okay?
Yeah.
I'm talking about pure rushing, like hard-nosed rushing. Nobody's running it like them. And then, that Sullivan's and Perry connection, that's fun to watch. Sullivan can catch you one hand in the back of the end zone, and you can't guard him like that. You can be all over him. He's still getting it one hand back the end zone. So my thing is, Rhein Fire looked defeated before this Berlin game, and then they go play against Berlin. They have a great game, record-breaking game, all that, super cool. But it was against Berlin, so I'm not getting too worked up over that one. I think the Raiders are gonna be are gonna make the Rhein Fire come crashing down to reality this weekend, and I'm the only one that thinks that. But hey, I'm just writing with my thought, I'm just writing with what I believe in.
No, absolutely. And I think one thing to point out with Corey Sullivan, I think we haven't even seen like his max potential. We've started to see like some highlights late, like towards the second half. But in terms of the capability of a true number one X receiver, I don't even think we scratched the surface of his potential. And I hope we get the opportunity to kind of see him next year, either with the Raiders or, obviously back in the league at somewhere.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm telling you, we might even get an opportunity to see him in the playoffs, doing some crazy stuff. So, it's too early to talk next year for the Raiders, in my opinion. The season is not over.
Not over.
Let's move on to the game of the week. We said we're gonna break down 4. We already broke down 3 games. What's the game of the week, man?
Hey, for us, it's Frankfurt going to Prague, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the Jameson Wang Frankfurt Galaxy is a way different team, different energy, different functionality than what it was with McKay. And that's nothing to say against McKay, but you can tell that the team blends better with Jameson Wang than they did with McKay, especially offensively. And then defensively, Bijan Harris,
he's changed that team around.
He's changed the secondary.
Yeah.
Right. He's changed the mentality of the secondary. He's changed the way they play defense. Like, why this guy wasn't signed beginning of the year, not just last year, but this year is wild. And some team is going to sign him, right? Some team is going to sign him next season, or at least try to sign him. Obviously, depending on what he wants to do. But the Frankfurt Galaxy is a real contender to play spoiler for a lot of teams, and a couple bounces their way, they can still sneak into the playoffs. All right.
Yeah.
And then you think about a Prague team that, again, what a great season they had. They might have the coach of the year, assistant coach of the year, defensive rookie of the year, comeback player of the year, special teams player of the year, maybe offensive player of the year.
They're winning all the awards.
Like Prague, like Prague, complete 360. Now, over the past couple of weeks, though, Prague hasn't really been playing their best ball.
Yeah.
Right? You take out that Helvetic game, and Prague hasn't looked like the Prague we thought they did midway
through the Helvetic game. They won like 10-6 or something. My book, that's disappointing if you're a playoff team to win 10-6.
Absolutely. And another thing to point out is this giving Wrocław Panthers Prague Lions game 2 vibes, where Prague went in, shocked the team and the team wasn't expecting, then blew the team out, and now that team kind of knows what they're getting from the Prague Lions. Is it kind of giving those vibes, something that you got to think about when picking this game?
Yes, sir. I agree with that, and that's why I'm riding with you. I'm going for the Frankfurt Galaxy as well to win this one. It's crazy because I think the past few weeks really influenced our vision over the Prague Lions. We are back to the earlier parts of the season where everybody's picking against them, and Matt Dressington is the only crazy head that's still going Prague. But, Matt always said for this year, these are not your grandpa's Prague Lions. This team is different. This team has new stars on the team and stuff like that. Well, what I'm going to say to you is this is not your father's Frankfurt Galaxy. This team is way different compared to the start of the season. As you said, a lot of signings halfway through the season. Bijan, Easton, Wang. Man, Wang is playing so nice. So, I'm just excited. This team went from looking like Swiss cheese on defense to getting 4 picks and 2 pick sixes against the best quarterback in European League of football history. So, I don't know, can Javarian hang with this renewed Frankfurt defense? Can the Prague Lions defense hang with this Jameson Wang? Can you hang with Wang? I don't think they can. So that's why I'm going for the Frankfurt Galaxy. I'd love to have Matt's opinion. I hope he drops a comment or something where he defends his Prague Lions. I don't know. I'm more confident in the 3% chance of Frankfurt getting the playoffs than the whatever 18, 20, I don't know what it was, % for the Prague Lions. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it sounds crazy, but it is like that in my opinion.
No, absolutely. And you think about like the teams that Frankfurt has played since Simon Jameson Wang, right? You think about his performance versus Stuttgart. You think about the win versus Nordic, right? So these are, some of the top teams, right? Sir. And he's turned
division winners.
He's turned Jameson Wang has turned Frankfurt and has them playing top level ELF ball right now. All right. Yes, so again, if Prague wants to get to the playoffs, it's going to be a well-earned victory, and we're going to see how it all pans out. But I'm picking Frankfurt. Listen, I think the level and the competition that they played over the past couple weeks compared to what Prague has played and looked like, and granted, everyone's coming off a bye week. I think this is a Frankfurt team that's different. This is more like your cousin's Frankfurt team, and not your grandfather's Frankfurt team.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So my next question, of course, is as always, as every week, who's your player to watch for this weekend of ELF ball?
Yeah, this one may surprise a couple people because this is more of a player to watch. I'm not necessarily sure what the fantasy numbers are going to look like, but a player that I'm going to watch is someone that is near and dear to my heart. Someone who is from the beautiful state of New Jersey, someone who is a Helvetic great, and someone who has come back to finish his career in these last 2 games and is playing with house money. And that's right, I'm talking about Carlton Aiken, right?
Yes, sir.
Carlton Aiken is my player to watch. You've seen what Hamburg did and the troubles that they gave Nordic the first time they played. That defense actually played well for a half, right? And the quarterback play wasn't great, but now you're bringing in Carlton. And what does Carlton do? Carlton is someone who not only can get you in the pass game, but can use his legs, right? And playbook's going to be very, I'm not going to say, the playbook's going to be somewhat vanilla, but it's whatever's going to get him to play fast. And again, he's playing with house money. He doesn't care. He's done after 2 games, right? But if I know Carlton the way I know Carlton, he's coming in to upset Nordic, right? He's coming in to make a name for himself.
Man.
And I am picking Carlton Aiken for player to watch this week.
Imagine if the Nordic Storm lost back-to-back Frankfurt and Hamburg. I'm so excited to watch Carlton Aiken as well. The only thing, Carlton, I love you. You're a great player. My only thought is this Carlton Aiken or Coach Aiken that we're gonna get in the game? Like, what I'm saying is this guy ready to be at the level that we know he can be? I don't know. I hope he is, because I really want to have fun watching him. But
yeah,
I don't know if he's gonna be necessarily that ready.
Well, you think about it like this: Nordic just put Ludwig Marvin on IR, and they're more of a 3-down, they're more of a 3-4 scheme out front on the defensive side. So what does that mean? That means what Hamburg is going to try to do. They're going to bring in a tight end, and you're going to see a lot of Chris Kaya. All right, you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot in the run game, and with the run game, you're going to see a lot of read option. All right, so with the run game and then with the read option, that's going to open up the pass game a little bit. They're a team that plays a lot of zone, right? So I think you'll see a lot of like short passing game, all right, until a play action opens up the secondary a little bit. But you can't ignore Luke Lena or Chad Wallren. They played that against Frankfurt. There's no doubt about it. All right, so bye week came in the right time. They're going to be looking to bounce back, and he's going up against the GOAT of the ELF, Adrian Clark. However, I picked Nordic to win. I don't want to get that twisted. I picked Nordic to win. But I'm not going to discredit the impact that Carlton Aiken can potentially have on this team.
Were you tempted to text me, hey, bro, change it to HSD before when the Aiken news got out? Were you tempted to change your pickup?
No, because I don't trust the secondary.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to give you my player to watch. My opinion, this week's player to watch, and I'm calling you out looking directly into the camera, Javarian Smith. Ooh. If you want to prove that the Prague Lions are not my grandpa's Prague Lions, show it to me. You've let your team down in some occasions this year. You've played amazing. This is no doubt the best season ever for the Prague Lions. All of that, very good stuff. Prove it to me against a Frankfurt team that's coming up and that is hot. When you were the hot team, everybody had to watch out for you. Now you're holding somebody in your hand that's really, really hot. Show me that you can handle it. That's all I'm going to say. Show me that you can handle it.
Yeah, listen, that's fair words. Fair words. Mm-hmm. There's some games your quarterback just have to get you over the hump. All right, there's some games your quarterback may have to be the difference maker. Or when times are, getting tight, they have to be the best player on the field. All right? And, if you want to go to the playoffs, that performance needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Yes, sir. All right, let's move on to fantasy. Who's your must start in fantasy this week?
Yeah, I'm going back to the same guy I picked when the last time they played Helvetic. I'm going Nico Kandar. I think Paris is going to run the ball. I think they're going to try to find again what their identity is against Helvetic before going into that Vienna game, because obviously that Vienna game is going to mean a lot. But they're gonna run the ball. Henderson's gonna run the ball. But I'm gonna say, if I was a betting man, I'm gonna go 3 touchdowns for Kandar this week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sad about that because I had this whole speech ready for you're struggling to find the running back. I'm gonna give you the running back that you need and pick Kandar as well. I'm gonna have to switch it up. I'm gonna have to go back to the roots. As you guys know, when you're struggling with a position, you listen to Jamal. When you're being dumb in a position, you listen to me. Listen to me. Start the surge defense this weekend. Yes. The surge defense, or Paris too, actually. Paris is playing Helvetic. That could be a good pick too. But surge is a must start in my opinion, honestly. It's an easy pick. Gotta have them in your team. If you're not starting either Paris or surge on defense, you're a dumbass. So make sure you fix that. All right.
Yeah, and keep this in mind. Surge defense versus a homegrown quarterback. Paris defense versus McCormick, Keegan McCormick. So however you want to dice it, you can't go wrong with either. But I would lean more Surge.
Yes, sir.
Even if they are playing their backups. Even if they are playing their backups.
I completely agree. Well, guys, thank you so much for following for another Game Picks episode. If you're from the whole episode, thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you're watching only Game Picks, make sure to go back and watch the interview that I had with Joey and Russell Tabor. We had a little fun game, actually. We drafted a little team. So I'm not going to spoil too much, but that was a lot of fun to record. So make sure to go watch that. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share this with every one of your family, every one of your friends, all the people that's around you. Make sure that people are seeing this because, we're trying to grow too. So support the growth. If you haven't yet seen it, First Down Magazine, First Down Magazine polos are out. Text me in the DMs, write to First Down Magazine in DMs if you want one. Yeah, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for following along and enjoy your week 13 already? Damn,
13. We're down the stretch.
Yes, sir. Well, enjoy your week 13. Bye.